Hey, Flickin' Fanatics, what's going on? It's Jesse Swift with the Flickin' Real Fancast. Today we're going to be talking about some really interesting topics. We got a Blue Beetle movie is no longer an HBO Max exclusive. We're going to talk about the Secrets of Dumbledore trailer, and we're going to break down some of that Spidey hype, talking about Rotten Tomatoes reviews as well as the box office. So we'll see you right after this.
This is the sound of dun, 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 dun. It's the Flickin' Real Show.
Hello, and welcome to Flickin' Real. We are your source for news, reviews, and daily discourse, and it is I, Jesse Swift, and I am joined not by Scott Fox today. Filling in case you didn't know, it takes two to fill the pastor dad Scott Fox void. And with me, I have Allison, Salamone, and Sean Wingblade. How are you guys doing this morning?
I'm stealing your finger guns.
You did steal my finger guns. That is, I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Super. We're here. I'm here.
All that matters.
We're all doing super. We're all here for Sean. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me on the show, and thanks everyone that's going to be in the chat, donating conversation. That's a new phrase I'm going to start using. Thank you for donating
free.
Conversation.
It's free. Please donate
That's what I'm doing here. I'm just donating my conversation.
Yes, and please, Spider-Man talk. No spoilers in the chat.
Yes, no spoilers in the chat. We were
especially
going to
Allison. Especially Allison.
We're going to talk about the concepts
of
Spider-Man, but we're not going to be talking details about Spider-Man. So whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening to the podcast, which this show usually does end up on our podcast feed, and that's on all.
Wish I was cashing checks, Shug. I wish I was cashing checks. Breaking that happens quite a bit, but the cashing of checks, not so much.
For those of you watching live or whether you're rewatching, please take a second just to subscribe to the channel if you're new, or like it. I like to try to get to at least 20 minimum is pretty cool. If we can get to 20 likes on this video, that would be a super thumbs up. Speaking of, click that button. All right, guys. Well, before we get into the show, and I know today's show will be a doozy, we do have a brief video from our sponsor of the day. And I thought this was very appropriate because I think most of us, after watching Spider-Man No Way Home, had to change our underpants. So here we go. Just watching the slow descent of Allison's face.
I feel like that would chafe. I feel like that wouldn't work.
Don't wear wet underpants, people. Wear dry underpants, please.
Well, sometimes when you go and see Spider-Man, that's not an option.
Take it from a fluffy guy. Start your day with dry underpants.
Always
if you see Spider-Man, you'll definitely end your day with not dry underpants.
So bring a pair to change it to.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can.
All right, guys.
I had to go. Hold on. I had to go to McPhee.com just to see what we had here.
You got some goodies?
That's
Looks like
one
there
of
are
those
some goodies. There's a lot of good stuff.
That's one of those dumb white elephant gifts I would end up with after I bring a sweet one. Chances are that's what's going to happen tonight.
Well, as we've heard from Allison, just constantly getting screwed on white elephant parties.
Always.
So maybe it's time that Allison strikes back.
I need to start just stealing gifts instead of opening them. My curiosity is a problem.
Okay, let's kick off the show with Allison's most anticipated topic of the day, and that is the Blue Beetle movie, originally an HBO Max release, just as recent as DC Fandom. They were talking about this movie. We got our first image from it. Well, kind of concept art, but a look right there what the Blue Beetle is going to look like. Jaime Reyes, the second incarnation of the character. A lot of us DC fans are very excited to see what's in store for that, but they've said it's now going to be a theatrical release. Is Warner Brothers starting to realize that HBO Max is not kicking off the way that they had intended? Maybe.
Probably.
Probably.
I mean, especially with how much money Warner Brothers is hemorrhaging to make these movies that, you
mean like In the Heights? Tank. Suicide Squad? Tank. Matrix? Gonna tank.
Yeah. You think so?
I think it's probably gonna get like 30 million, which is low for me.
Yeah, I wish I could just get 30 million. That'd be nice, but I get it.
Not when you spend like 100 plus.
Yeah. No. True.
Yeah, In the Heights budget was 55 million. It only made about 44.
Grand total worldwide.
It just says I'm just looking at Google, so I'm not really sure. I hate Box Office Mojo after they changed like a year ago. It's the worst website.
They used to be super user friendly, and now they're very user stupid. Hey,
worldwide.
We got Brian Buckingham in the chat.
What up, Buck?
What up, Buck? For those of you that don't know, Buck joined us on our Spider-Man spoiler-free attempt. Just
turned into us gushing and being like,
ago.
it's so good.
It's so good, but we can't tell you why for 20 minutes.
Exactly. What's up, Alex? Good
Miss
to
Alex
see
here
you.
too. It looks like the Suicide Squad
Allison,
made 167.
Wow. Allison, as a resident Blue Beetle expert, tell us your thoughts on this shift.
First of all, I just need to make it be noted. I don't think I've ever gotten yelled at more by a group of my friends than when I sent a message into a group chat that said, "What's a Blue Beetle?"
You don't know?
Like,
what?
My bad, homies. My bad. No, but like I've been Wikipediaing it up and like talking to my friends that are all smarter than me in all of this. I mean,
there's some really good content with Blue Beetle that you could definitely watch and enjoy.
For sure. Like, and I like that it's like, I think actually Sean is the one who made the comment to me to kind of help me understand a little bit more that like this version of him, as you're looking at like DC's version of like a Spider-Man mixed with an Iron Man with like,
it's like the maturity of a Spider-Man, but
right,
like
with the technology
of like a symbiote nanotechy Iron Man type suit.
Sure. Yeah.
That is also a little bit Doc Ocky because it sometimes can take over his mind.
True. Okay. See, look what you guys are doing. You're educating this comic movie dodo right here. So this is great. This is what I'm here for. This is the content I
doing
look
a comic movie dodo and just being a comics dodo. Those are two different things. I think
two different things. Two different things. I'm getting better though. I'm starting to impress people every now and then with like the little nuggets of knowledge that I know, and then completely disappoint and just drop downhill with the comment of like, "What's a Blue Beetle?" I don't know why any of you are friends with me sometimes.
Do you know who was cast as Blue Beetle?
It's the kid from Cobra Kai, right?
Yes, that's why I wore this shirt. Jolo was cast, and he kills it in Cobra Kai. I know Jesse hasn't seen the show because he's a hater. He says there's too much stuff on streaming services, but it's great, and he does a fantastic job.
Just keep him there. No one needs to look at my face the rest of the show. Just keep that.
We're just going to insert him over your face. So.
Do it.
Listen, I really like Blue Beetle a lot. I think he's a really cool character. I first started getting familiar with him when I originally watched Young Justice, first couple seasons. I guess he came in the second season, but the third season of that show is very, very centric to the character, or maybe it was the second season. I don't know. I binged it all at once. He's also really integral in the Injustice storyline, especially when you get into like part 2. And he's an awesome character. He very much feels like DC Spider-Man without like abilities. So like it's not a rip-off, but it spiritually feels like their Spider-Man.
So I had only known Blue Beetle because I was I knew who he was. I just didn't know his backstory. I had seen him in an episode of Smallville, 15 years ago. And I think he came into like Justice League Unlimited for a moment or something like that. Like that was my memory of him. But I think Injustice, I might be conflating it. I might be mixing that up because I never saw Injustice, but I've seen like some of his scenes, like just very few of them. So
it's
I don't know.
Firestorm through a lot of the Injustice story.
I definitely haven't seen those. I don't remember Firestorm other than on the Flash show and Legends. So I don't know why he gets his powers. Is he descendant of some scarab god person thing or something? Like I don't understand.
Let's turn this into an episode of Montyverse. The original Ted Cord had a suit that he had created, and he was just kind of a guy. He was your average schmo-esque type of hero, but he was a bit of a mentor to Jaime Reyes when Jaime Reyes.
Aww.
Oh, hi. Jet. Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That's so cool. Hi,
Is that your dad?
I guess. I didn't know. I didn't. I'm assuming either that or somebody that wants me to call him daddy.
PLD?
Well, hello.
Anyway, so Jaime Reyes had a alien scarab that had been buried under the sands, attach itself to him very parasitically to his back, and then it creates this suit, and it's Jaime and the Beetle constantly talking to each other. So it's a Venom-esque.
It's Venom or the Guyver.
Yeah, it's an amalgamation of enough things that it almost feels original.
Okay. Yeah. Has anyone ever seen the Guyver? I know I've talked to you about it, Jesse.
MacGyver?
The Guyver.
The Giver?
Guyver. Look up The Guyver from 1991 and 1994, and it's a manga comic, I think, from Japan, and Mark Hamill was in the first movie as the crazy scientist. It's absolute early 90s crazy bonkers action. It's basically Power Rangers mixed with kind of like a Blue Beetle or like a Venom, where we're going around fighting dudes in crazy big ass monster suits, straight out of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and stuff. It's great.
Awesome. So yeah, any other thoughts? Are you guys glad that they're making the shift to I'm almost always glad to do the shift to theater over streaming.
Oh, look, Chris has a pretty cool note real fast. Reads gets hardcore Spider-Man vibes. When the movie drops, I'd love for it to be like what Spider-Verse did and introduce this hero of color to a massive audience.
We do not get a lot of Hispanic leads, and that is what Jaime Reyes is going to be. Is front and center. He's not a side character. He's not a secondary character. He's boom.
Yeah.
No,
I'm really glad that we're making the shift back into theaters. I know we're kind of gonna talk about it with the opening weekend numbers with Spider-Man, but there's just nothing like being in a theater for these kinds of moments.
Allison, I don't know about you, but my second theatrical experience was better than my first.
Oh, 100%.
I had a better audience.
Well, I did too, but I also knew what was coming. So I get to look around and anticipate and not really have to still pay a lot of attention, but knowing when big moments were happening, I could look around and see everyone. And I went on a Friday, and school's now out for winter break here in Florida. So I got to see all these families bringing their kids in, dressed up in their Spider-Man costumes, and watching all it was just, that almost made me cry, apart from other parts of the movie. So I probably cried more my second time seeing it than my first, because I got to watch everyone's reactions.
I certainly did. Yeah, so I'm curious if that means that soon the Batgirl movie will follow suit with Leslie Grace and J.K. Simmons. That was an HBO Max movie announced. I wonder if they might go to theaters with that. I hope so, because I'm very excited to see HBO Max series and stuff in the DC universe and stuff. But I don't see a lot of reasons why a movie needs to go straight to streaming if it's supposed to have any kind of cinematic appeal at all. So,
right.
With that, let's move on to our second topic, which is the highly anticipated Secrets of Dumbledore first look that we've gotten here. I will say, I love this.
That's Mads. That's Mads.
No, that's the secret. He is Dumbledore.
No.
Snap.
No.
Oh, snap.
Stop it. Yes, Alex, just like dude.
I watched this trailer when it first came out, and I am a horrible host because I was supposed to watch it again this morning, and instead I went and got M&Ms.
I watched it for the first time this morning just because I've been needing to, and as like an original like Harry Potter stan, I'm so disappointed with how these Fantastic Beasts movies have been going.
I'm with Alex.
Yeah.
Yes, and though, the good thing about this movie is that J.K. is not writing it alone, which she did to the first two Fantastic Beasts movies.
Which is weird because, like, I think the first Fantastic Beasts is a fun experience.
It was.
The second one is hot dog water.
I think the first one was slow, and it got worse the longer it went.
I think the saving grace of the first one is the Dan Fogler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything that's the saving grace of the first one is botched by being butchered in the second one.
Yes.
Yeah. Jacob and Queenie's relationship in the first one was one of the funnest parts. And then they're just like, yeah, no, they're not together anymore. In fact, she's just going to betray him and leave him. Spoiler.
Oh, yeah. And then Colin Farrell was the best part of the first movie. Yeah. And they went, psych, it's Johnny Depp. And I was like,
look,
oh, okay.
I like Mads Mikkelsen. I just wish they would have brought back Colin Farrell.
Here's a question.
If they're going to get rid of Johnny.
I agree.
Which is a whole different conversation as to what happened.
If we get another Grindelwald movie or Fantastic Beasts movie, can we get another actor playing Grindelwald?
Do another actor.
Just change it every time. Make it like the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus or something.
Yeah.
I do too, Alex. I love Queenie. I think she was just so fun.
I think her name is Allison Sudol. I haven't seen her in much. I think she has
a great name though.
Yeah. Of course,
at best.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
But like, so the writer coming back is Steve Kloves, who wrote 7 out of the first 8 Harry Potter movies. The only one he didn't write was Order of the Phoenix. So that gives me excitement that J.K. is not alone in the screenwriting. She can write a story, sure, of course, regardless of how problematic she ends up being after the fact. But I think that screenwriting is different than writing a book, and she obviously didn't pick up on those traits, or the director didn't fix, I guess, or meld what he was given on the page to fit on screen properly. So hopefully Mr. Kloves can do that, and it'll end up being better off.
Also, all of these movies are starting to make me hate Ezra Miller and see his face as very, very punchable, which is
for those of you that are friends with me on Facebook, you saw I made a post saying Sonic 2 looks better than The Flash. And a good friend of the show, Mike Deacon, put a Michael Keaton post on the bottom as if that was his argument. And I said, 2 Batmans do not make up for 2 Ezra Millers.
This is true.
3 Ezra Millers?
Maybe
more. At least 2, maybe 3.
2. Yeah.
At least.
Bring in Grant Gustin too.
Let's the actual trailer.
Gustin is a fantastic Flash.
That's what they're gonna do. He's gonna travel back in time. He's gonna merge the multiverse. What are the multiverse of DC? Why am I'm thinking all Spider-Man. But then Grant Gustin's just gonna be like, Ezra, you've done enough. Let me take over. I'm gonna take the movie in a different direction.
If they could do that within the first 10 minutes, I'm in. I'm sold. Yeah. Like that's all I need.
That's what's gonna happen. Sorry to spoil it for you guys.
Got a screen.
They have like infinite Earths, so they have like Earth 1, Earth 2, stuff like that. But anyways, actual talk about the trailer. Is there anything that stood out to you guys? Honestly, the only thing I remember is, hey, look, Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, sure. Jacob got a wand for some reason. So
yeah, okay. Now it's coming back to me.
Weird. Like what?
I don't know. Maybe they realize he's a squib of some kind and has a little bit of power. Like Filch kind of has a little power.
Can you enchant a wand and then give it to somebody and be like, okay, if you
that's what I was thinking.
No, I don't think that has never been covered in any of the books. And a squib doesn't necessarily have a squib is someone who's born to magical parents but doesn't have any magical powers, which is like
I always thought they had not enough to manifest stuff. That was my understanding, but I haven't read the books in a long time. So no, so this reminds me of I'm a parent.
We get little tingles in our hands that our mom tells us about.
Little Peter tingles.
This reminds me of me playing video games with my kids, and I'm playing the game. And I'm like, here you go, buddy. Just hold on to that one.
Yeah.
I'll look. We're both controlling the guys on the screen. You're doing great. You're doing great, buddy. Yeah. So maybe I think that's what's gonna be happening.
What are you gonna do when your kids realize that that's the trick that you're playing on them?
Oh,
and then
they do now. I was playing Call of Duty with my 8-year-old the other day, and I'm like, kill him.
Father of the year.
So, dad vibes right here.
Hi, Bador. Thank you for always joining in the chat, especially recently.
What
awesome.
up?
She's like, I realized that Jesse Swift guy isn't the worst, so I guess I'll come hang out. We know you're all here for Allison. That's fine. Yeah, so there was a lot of people getting hyped for about 2 hours about this trailer, and then I never heard about it again. And I was like, I could not care less. I watched the trailer. Go ahead.
I would rather go see that Uncharted movie first before I go see Secrets of Dumbledore.
Can I say something on that note? So after now seeing the Uncharted trailer like 10 times, I'm starting to come down with, you know what? This movie looks kind of fun. I just have to completely remove myself from the fact that it's supposed to be Uncharted. And which is kind of like when I went and saw Tomb Raider. I'm like, can I just look at this like a fun adventure romp? And I did. And I had a good time with it. Does it hold a candle to the Tomb Raider games? It absolutely doesn't.
You're breaking Chris's heart.
We'll see.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I think I was telling Sean, I was like, watching this new Uncharted trailer.
Oh, that's brutal.
Ooh.
Oh, damn. Wow. I just spent a week with him.
Is Jeff in here? Don't.
Hi, Parker.
You might take me up on that, Mike. But no, I was saying, like, watching the trailer, I'm like, but I also have no connection to the game. So part of me is just kind of like, it looks fun AF. Like, I'm gonna go and see it because it looks fun and I like Tom Holland. So I don't have like the hatred towards it that a lot of other people like. It looks terrible. And I don't know. I'd rather go see that first than go see this piece of hot garbage that looks like it's coming out. And I love Jude Law too. So frustrating.
Oh man, I just made this new banner. Okay. We're actually getting back on topic now.
We can keep going. I'll keep
to
talking
touch
about
on
it.
Uncharted. That is my only issue with it, is that I get the Tomb Raider vibes, and they weren't great. I think they were good for their time, and at 2005-ish. So maybe my
that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about the good one with Alicia Vikander.
I haven't seen that one yet, so I'm gonna have to watch that one because I think we have to watch that one next year. But the original Tomb Raiders plus the new one, it's just that they're trying to be the video game instead of just taking the video game story and making a good movie. It just seemed a little too extra. I don't know. It's a weird word to say for it.
Agree that Sonic thus far is the best video game movie, and Arcane is definitely the best video game show.
I haven't watched it yet. I need to watch that.
I mean, I can say that for Sonic for sure. Yeah, I didn't say Arcane. I've not seen it.
The reason I can say it's the best. Go ahead.
Sonic or Detective Pikachu?
I like Sonic significantly more than Detective Pikachu, because Detective Pikachu's third act felt like I was a child on acid. I was like, what is happening? Why is it happening? And then they're like, and Ryan Reynolds. And I'm like, what?
Going back, though, to Dumbledore, Brandy makes a good point here with they should do away with trailers, just go to see all movies, no info, just go and watch. Because in that Dumbledore trailer, here's my thing with Dumbledore, is there's so many people that they're just throwing on screen. They're like, who is that? And I want to know before I go in. Like, I want to have the info, but at the same time, now I'm just annoyed that they're just throwing people in here that we've had zero connection with this entire time. That's from like the first two movies.
I can't name 80% of the people on screen. Like, there's people walking with Newt. I'm like, I forgot your name and your name. Whoops, I'm in Inner Geekdom.
I should watch those movies.
Good news is you're not going to get questions on that until like July anyway, with how they do things. So you're good.
Fair enough.
Yeah, right.
Before we move on to the next topic, I wanted to comment on Brandy's comments. Mike, okay. Mortal Kombat is the most fun video game movie. It is not the best video game movie. Okay.
I agree with Mike.
It is nostalgically all of our favorites, and there will be no discussion.
Brandy says we should do away with trailers. The problem is, realistically, marketing is important because not everyone exists in this sphere. I do think and agree that you can shorten the marketing window, which I feel like people are starting to do. Remember when Force Awakens had a teaser trailer a year out?
Yeah.
Waste of time, waste of money, because there are no more people that showed up to the movie because of that trailer than did for the trailer that came out 8 months after it. So I think that like yeah, you get people talking about it. Maybe it builds some fervor and stuff. But I think that like John Wick, the first John Wick trailer came out 1 month before the movie. And guess what? We all went and saw it.
I think that your argument for that movie specifically is a little flawed because Star Wars was returning, so they were just playing to their audience. But in general, I do agree with you. I think because we'll get teasers for like people want so for example, in a world that COVID didn't exist, right? The Matrix is coming out next week. We would have gotten a teaser, not at this Comic-Con, but last year's Comic-Con, a year and a half prior. Hey, the Matrix is coming back. All right, cool. Well, that's been gone for 18 years or so. If it's been gone for that long, but then we'll do the same thing for Marvel or Aquaman or like Guardians. We got a teaser 2 weeks after they started filming. The movie didn't come out for another 18 months because it's typically 2 years between films. So that I agree with because it's a rolling franchise of some kind or a rolling series. You don't need teasers 2 years ahead for that type of stuff.
No, just have a they usually have 3 trailers. One's like kind of a teaser, one's a little bit more plot, and the third one that shows too much. I think you kind of do whatever that second trailer is and just do that. And do it 2 months out, I think.
Yes. 100%. Also, Mike, let's hope so. Let's hope this is what happens.
Yeah, same, Mike.
Is
I
Mike
saw it
saying-
twice actually because I took my kid and then I had to take my kid and my other kid same time.
Okay, well, with that, we will finally be moving on.
Even this trailer is such trash. It looks such trash. We don't even talk about it that much. We talk about
we've said about 2 things about the actual trailer. All right, guys. So let's move on to our final topic, as you can see here, and we're breaking down that Spidey hype and all that Spidey goodness. And the first thing that I want to bring up is the proper banner, and then also this image from Rotten Tomatoes, which actually. So it was for the first 50 reviews, it was at like 100%, and everyone's like, wow. And it was at like 98, and we're like, wow, that's like right up there with Shang-Chi as one of the best reviewed Marvel movies. It has realistically dropped a little bit now, so we will talk about this. 94 though, however, this is last time I looked. Let me drop the banner for a second.
Hold on, I got to shame whoever gave it a bad review.
Yeah, right. Call them out.
They need a hug. Clearly,
threaten their family.
Let's find them.
So 267 reviews.
No, I don't play the trailer.
I think that this is very important here. I'll hide my face. Allison can be over here. This is really good. 94% is really good for especially 267 critic reviews. My hope, and if I were to have anything to say, this movie would land right around like 90. Because I can see some people critically reviewing it as a film and not part of the Marvel universe or part of the Spider-Man franchise. And if you're only looking at this movie from a surface level or critical aspect, I can see there being potentially numerous flaws, which we will not dive into here. But as a fan experience, you go over to this audience score and you see 99% approval rating with 10,000 plus verified ratings, meaning people that had to prove that they had tickets to the film.
Kyle Smith. I'm looking at you, Kyle Smith.
Kyle Smith, right out.
From the National Review. No one's ever heard of that. That doesn't exist.
Exactly, Mike Deacon. 94% doesn't reflect how wonderful this movie truly is.
Right.
Well, also, and I have to say this every time, there's a lot of people out here that don't understand what Rotten Tomatoes is. 94% is not the quality of the film. It did not get a 94% rating. 94% is the amount of critics that had a positive experience or would recommend this film. And we have to acknowledge that typically comic book movies or big action extravaganza or nostalgia bombs don't always connect with people that don't have an investment. So I think 94 is perfectly acceptable because this movie leans, like you can just see in the trailers, it does lean on nostalgia, bringing back characters like Doc Ock, Electro, and stuff like that. So I don't find this surprising. I think this is good. This is what we could hope for coming out of this. And I think the audience is to be expected. I did pull up some the Rotten Tomatoes page because I want to look at some of the reviews. Sean, you have
Oh,
something
I'm staring at this guy. His name is Bilgi Ibiri. Bilge Ebiri. I don't know.
I'm giving your pronunciation of his name a negative review
for New York New York Magazine Vulture. He's a top critic. He says, while the previous Holland films have been mediocre in modest ways, No Way Home feels downright aggressive in its mediocrity.
He needs a hug.
Who gave Jeff an account?
Yes, this movie achieved peak mediocrity. It didn't try to do anything that we've never seen before in the streams.
Can I just say
now this other one I actually kind of agree with in way. It says, yet again, Spider-Man's wants and needs are deferred for villains that were created by someone else. It is as if he's a medium that's shown up at the wrong seance, left to exorcise ghosts of someone else's past. Which is not a spoiler. We see it in the trailer. He is left to deal with everyone else's villains. So I don't disagree with his interpretation of what happened. But I don't feel like that's a negative for me because that's straight out of like comics. Like there's a Spider-Verse in the comics. It's not like they've done, things that have never been seen before.
It's something that I say quite often, which is like I read reviews a lot after seeing a movie. And I'm like, what you're saying is on point. Our level of feelings about what you're saying are vastly different. That's something that came up a lot in Eternals. People are like, oh, this, and this is like a negative. And I was like, I don't feel that way though. So, Allison, did you want to add something?
Damn it, I turned Chris.
No, I just think that all of these critics, especially that first one that was very aggressive in his thoughts of it, just needs a hug. You could cure a lot with just a good hug, I feel like. Yeah, just saying. 100%. And all of us are missing that. And so these grumpy critics that are saying very aggressively incorrect things about this movie, I think just need a hug. They've been locked up indoors for too long.
Hey, well, my two critic friends, Dan Merle and William Bibiani, both had an absolutely fantastic time. I listened to Dan Merle's 50-minute spoiler review for this movie.
50 minutes?
50 minutes.
Yeah.
My guy had a good time.
Every minute of it.
I love that.
I love looking at these reviews and seeing somebody that is getting paid and their review is a fun escape. Thank you for your input. No Way Home may or may not be the best Spider-Man movie, but it's the most rewarding one. Let's see, it feels exuberant and ridiculous, but it's
10 out of 10. Allison and Bador. I tried to crush everyone I met at Spectacular.
I'm such a hugger. COVID has been so hard for me, you guys. It's been so hard.
I wanna have this last one in here really quick before moving on further, just because I feel like it kind of nips some of the critiques in the bud. It says it feels exuberant and ridiculous, but it's a superhero movie. A kid bitten by a spider in a suit made by a genius, swings from synthetic webbing. But sure, let's nitpick the reality of it.
Right. That reminds me of the time where I was watching ever Sharknado with my little sister back when we used to live together before Sharknado 2 came out. And as we're watching it, the whole movie's going on. Then at the very end, because at one point in the movie, like the babysitter gets eaten by a shark, and then at 30 minutes later, Ian Zarin gets eaten by the shark, but he's holding a chainsaw. And then a couple minutes later, then he cuts himself out of the shark, and he has the babysitter in his arms, and he saved her, and they're both alive. And I look at my sister, and go, "That would never happen." To which her reply was, "An entire movie about sharks in a tornado, and that's what you have problems with." Is that part right there.
Excuse me, let me bring up a review for Back to the Future. What's with all this timey-wimey stuff? I don't get it. What? It's too much timey-wimey stuff. Yeah, that's the point of the movie. That's literally the movie you walked into. I'm sorry.
Right.
I got something I'm gonna bring up here because Allison brought it up. Let's see. Where is shared in here?
Oh no, what did I bring up?
You're talking about Sharknado. So
Sharknado. Love it.
I am somebody that references Rotten Tomatoes a lot because I think Rotten Tomatoes is fascinating. Do not base all your opinions off it, but I think it's a great way to get a consensus of something. Now, I don't think it's always 100%, because we're going to bring this up here. And
what?
Sharknado has about 30% higher critic rating than Eternals. And I just want us all to sit on that for at least a minute.
You need to do a side-by-side screen cap and tweet that
Oh,
out.
that's funny.
That's interesting.
Like, this almost like completely reflects the opposite of the Eternals review with the higher audience and the lower critic.
I mean, in fairness, it only had 19 reviews.
Right. That is all I can say about it. But that is something that Lauren brought to my attention that I found to be hilarious. She's like, I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes because this. And I was like, no.
Many of the people who would have given it a negative review probably were just like, nah.
You know what?
Oh my God.
I think I got to figure it out, guys. The reason that people would give No Way Home a negative review is because they're sitting there chafing. We're not going to watch the whole thing.
Jesse, it is your dad. That's so nice. Look at that.
Hey, Dad, he even got himself a picture, got a YouTube account all set up. Man, they grow up so fast. Way to go, Dad. Way to go.
That's so nice. My parents are like, what are you doing? Oh, fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you know.
That's cool. Awesome.
Every time I say I got a show to do, he goes, "Oh, more of that trivia stuff, huh?" Like, sure. Yeah.
My parents are like,
my dad's
horrible.
Together.
He's really the best because like whenever I talk to him and stuff, he's like, "Oh, how'd your match go? How'd your trip go?" And he's asking me all these things that I know like sometimes are like a little out of left field for him like to conceptualize, but like damn it, he tries so hard, and I'm so proud of him. He's the best.
My parents just smile and say, "That's cute."
Shiv, did you miss our sponsor at the beginning of the show?
Oh yeah, this episode is brought to you by Instant Underpants, where you just need to add water. And in case you poop your pants while you're watching Spider-Man No Way Home, you just go to the bathroom, drop one of these little tablets in the sink, and you got yourself a nice soggy pair of underwear to slip on, and you're all clean, ready to go, and chafing for the rest of the show. Ha! That sounded scripted almost.
It did. Were you working on that pitch?
The reason that we were like 3 minutes late is I was just standing in front of the mirror trying to get ready for this sponsor take here. All right, guys. Well, now we're approaching our. Oh wait, that's not true. I'm sorry. Pause. We didn't talk about box office. We just talked about some of the reviews. So if you guys didn't know, Spider-Man No Way Home is doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I believe
pretty good.
Opening night it made that's Thursday night, $50 million about domestically.
Hold on. Stop.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, fact check.
I'm still reading reviews, negative reviews. Okay.
Okay.
I'd like to finally shame Fred Topple from the United Press International. No Way Home
sounds British, and we don't like them.
But maybe, yeah. That you said that. Jesse said that. No Way Home should have focused on making new viewers fall in love with the characters, so they want to discover their previous movies. This is the third movie in the Tom Holland Spider-Verse,
and like the 27th Marvel
and
film.
The 27th movie in the MCU. You want new viewers to fall in love with a third movie in the series. Nah, dude, this is for everyone who's been watching up to
Fast 7 really didn't work for me because I didn't feel like it was a good introduction to these characters.
Right? I didn't feel the need to go back on. He's gonna pop up. You mentioned Fast and Furious 3 times in the mirror. He's gonna pop up and donate $5 because John's a gem. Appreciate it.
Wait, can we just say Fast and Furious, Fast and Furious, Fast and Furious? I'm gonna go check Streamlabs.
Yes.
Go check it.
All right, I'm done. I closed the page. I'm done.
Which, I mean,
that was the last
way to go for us. 40 minutes into the show, and I did not mention that we do have a Streamlabs link if you guys want to support the show and have us get these particular people on here more often. And, the more money the show brings in, the more willing we are to do more new and interesting fun ideas. So please do that. And
we're getting paid for this?
Christmas. Possibly. I would love to give everyone that comes on an hour's worth of living wage. That would be a nice goal to keep consistent. So, That's
a nice goal.
40, $45, $50 a show. That'd be a cool thing to do. But
That'd be fun.
But one day. Anyways, moving.
You can always. I'll always be here for free, Jesse. I got you.
Oh, thank you. That means me and Sean will split your share. Okay. So Spider-Man made $50 million domestic, which is great. That right there is half of the pandemic era record, which is about 90 million, held by Venom Let There Be Carnage for an entire weekend.
That movie got 90 million in a weekend?
Sure did. Sure did.
Variety.
Real desperate to go see movies we are, huh?
Variety 1 hour ago is saying it's swinging past or to 240 million plus.
For estimates?
That's Variety an hour ago. Let me see. Hold on, clicking on it.
Can you bring that up? Can you, a little bit share screen? I would love to take a look at that article. But I mean, before we look at that article, I'm going to point everyone to the poll we have going in the chat right now, where you can make your predictions to how much you think the movie is going to make. 100 to 150 million, which is actually what Sony predicts. 151 to 200, which is what most of the outlets were predicting, or 200 million plus. Currently, it looks like most of you are saying 200 million plus, about 71%. All right, I'm going to pretend like that's legible, but we can blow it up a little bit.
Can you not read it? Did it swing to 240 plus? I'm trying to see if it was domestic or...
Right, that's
including international.
Because I feel like they like to grab headlines by being like, "Oh, it's gonna make sense." Like it was like Endgame making like $500 million a week, and I'm like, that wasn't domestic.
But this is domestic because 121 domestic on Friday. So
no way.
Projected to 242 opening.
That's
weekend.
Huge, guys.
Yeah,
that's really big.
Because what did Avengers hit? 357.
I just gotta say, Chris Anthony Lopez is blocked from the chat.
That is around this weekend.
We're gonna time him out.
I love Chris Anthony Lopez.
Now they're talking about the other movie.
Okay, well, that might slightly skew our opinions. I was going to ask you guys, where do you think domestically it's going to end by the end of the weekend?
242.
241.
Damn it!
Probably went over. I'm gonna be the one lower and say 220, and just see. So I'm gonna put $10 Streamlabs on this. 220. Allison is 242. I
said 241 just to be mean to Sean.
241, and then Sean.
We'll do 242 because that's what Variety thinks, and they know much more about this.
Okay.
Chris is saying 243 though. He's trying to price it right me.
We're price writing the shit out of Sean right now. I love it.
We're gonna turn this into a betting channel. It's gonna be great. We're gonna encourage gambling here. Okay. So I think that's interesting. It's very, very impressive.
I just want to put this up here because I love when people say nice things about me. Thanks, Chris.
Well, now Chris is definitely out of the chat now.
No.
I'll
leave. Bye.
Imagine being Sony and Variety is estimating that the movie's going to make 100 million more than your prediction. Because that Sony prediction was just like a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, predictions are predictions, but I guess at that time, because all the pre-bought, I mean, shoot, let me look. Go ahead. I'm going to look up and see if I can get a ticket for this weekend. Okay. Like if there's any available. Because
everything that's not digital for the most part at my theater is all either like very front row or sold out this whole weekend.
Ironically, what I've been saying to everyone, they're like, "Oh, is there still tickets?" And I was like, "Well, if you want the Gwen Stacy seats," and they're like, "What?" I was like, "The neck breakers."
Gotta remove you again. Terrible. Stop it.
Okay. They're even playing it in Spanish, unless that's just local. Because I think we have Spanish theaters nearby.
We also have the open caption theaters as well, so inclusive to all.
So I tried to buy tickets for The Matrix on Wednesday. I was trying to get IMAX, couldn't get IMAX. I tried to get XD, which is Cinemark's IMAX version, of a huge screen. There is none. So I'm sure that Disney and Sony, Marvel and Sony, have essentially bought out all of the big screen theaters for probably the 2 to 3 weeks following the release date as well, because they know people are going to want to see it on their biggest screen.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. So I couldn't get Matrix tickets in IMAX or big screen. Yeah. So this is just a 7:30 showtime tonight, and I'm all blown out. Only the front row, only the neck breakers left.
Yeah, that's same with this is a 3:00 show today. That's literally the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's
a comment in the chat for you there, Sean.
I got Matrix. Oh, that's disappointing.
All right, let's move on to our final topic, as we do every week, usually with Scott. But I guess these guys are okay. We're going to talk about what we've been reading and watching this week outside of, obviously, Spider-Man No Way Home. What have you guys been watching at home? Or is there anything that you've been reading, listening to on Audible? Sean, I know, is always studying mass quantities of content, so he's always got something interesting to say. But Allison, since this is your first time on News and Views, I do believe.
Yeah.
What has been going on with you this week?
Trash reality TV when... when I get home, because your girl's been needing her as much as I love movies and all of this, I also love my housewives with a passion. So that's really where, when I have been watching, I mean, if I'm not watching that, I'm, I've been as everyone, I've been reading, I've been doing a big reread right now with, this is so lame, but I've been doing a reread right now with the last lecture by Randy Pausch, which is just,
lame.
It is. It's so lame.
I don't know what that is.
It's more like, it's not like inspirational, but it's like, I don't know. It's a whole nother thing that I'll probably end up crying when I start talking about it. But been doing a lot of that than whatever, trash I find on the internet that shows up on my Facebook that I'm like, oh, let's watch that. I'm boring.
I don't think that's true. Well, I mean,
this too. I'm pretty much engaged to Devin Sawa now, and I'm. He knows. We now, guys. If you missed it on Thursday,
wait, Casper for the first time, Chris, or have you seen it before? But go ahead, Allison.
But this is important. We now live in a world where Devin Sawa knows I exist, which is all I ever wanted when I was like 12 years old, with like his pictures on my wall from like my Tiger Beat magazine. That's so you're welcome, everyone, for this.
Well, I think I started to shame Allison because we were in our private chat thing and I kept going "Hoomst," and I was like, oh yeah, remember when I flipped out over the two people responding to my Encanto tweet that I'd never heard of before Encanto came out? That was me. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and retract judgment. Like I'm going into every chat across like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They're like, Jessica Darrow retweeted me, and they're like, who? I was like, how do you not know who that is?
How do you not know Encanto and who that is? So. At least Sean had my back in that chat, because you weren't the only one that was like, who? And I'm like, what are you talking about? Which then makes me realize just how old I am all the time.
I am nothing if not a Little Giants stan, so yes. I know who Devin Sawa is.
Oh, and and then.
I will very quickly run across. I mean, obviously, I saw No Way Home twice, as did Allison.
Yes.
And you guys are sloughing because the full season of Witcher dropped yesterday, so I watched the first episode of that last night.
Oh, yes.
That was my plan for the day.
I need to go watch that.
Enjoy it. I got to do a lot of semi-last-minute Christmas shopping, so shortly after the show, I will be out and about.
That is my wife's plan for me for today.
Speaking of watching, I posted a thing on Twitter, and I think I'm going to do it, is I'm going to give the Clone Wars another shot. This time in the chronological order from StarWars.com that, if Bador is still in the chat, confirms was the link that I had.
Oh, yeah.
Now, many people, including my own husband, thinks I don't have the attention span for it, and he's probably 100% right, but I'm going to give it my best go.
I'm going to say I think Clone Wars is good. I only got into like halfway through the second season, but My problem is it's not boring and it's not like filler per se, but a lot it does feel like it's kind of taking its time, but it's also filling a really big gap. So I understand that. But it's hard when there's so many other things that have more like dramatic precedence in my life as far as content goes, that it was hard for me to stick to it because it's so much. Like if it was a new show like Arcane or something, I think I would have stuck with it. But it's hard to just be like, I'm going to binge 7 long seasons. But that is no discredit to the show whatsoever. So like if someone's like, hey, I'm going to watch Clone Wars, I'm like, great, do it. It's awesome. It's some of the best Star Wars content out there, along with like Rebels. Rebels is kind of the same thing though. I didn't start it until later, so I only got into like the 2nd season, and I'm like, this is a lot of time.
But Doran here's my thing with this is when everyone's like, just keep going with it. It gets so good by season 5. I'm just going to start on
60 episodes into the show? I'm sorry. Like it's different if you have like Game of Thrones or something. It's like 10 episodes and it's like 9 to 10 hours a season. But it's like, oh no! After 60 hours, I promise you'll start to like it.
Go, Mike.
Oh no, Mike! Does this mean I might like you a little bit more than Bethany now because she's such a gem? I'm just kidding. I love Bethany the most.
I've never seen Clone Wars. I've seen the movie a couple times because I had to, but I didn't. I just wasn't like I had seen Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but I wasn't into necessarily because that was my 20s, so I wasn't like running out to watch Star Wars. I was out doing other things, but I tried to get my kids into Star Wars when Rebels started. As soon as Rebels launched, and they got bored very quickly, but I got hooked. And so I watched all of Rebels, and I just didn't go back to watch Clone Wars because it's so daunting. There's 7 seasons. A friend of mine, I love Supernatural, and a friend of mine was like, "Oh, I'm gonna start it from the beginning." I'm like, "Good luck." There's 14 seasons of 20 episodes. Like, it's so much stuff to watch.
This note is the one that I keep getting though, is making sure to watch it in this chronological order because it helps because I guess when all these episodes were originally released, a lot of them were released in like the wrong order, much like how Firefly got that treatment and should have deserved so much better. But so I think by doing it, maybe if I give it like that treatment, I might stick with it a little bit more.
Can I say I'm like a D- binger? Like anything that requires me to binge, I'm really bad at.
Oh my God, I finished You in an entire weekend. Are you kidding me?
Like
You and my wife.
Entire weekend. And I'm sitting there going, I should not be feeling bad for these serial killers, but at the same time,
I think it's a continuation. I haven't watched the show, but I think it's a continuation of Ben Badgley's character from Gossip Girl.
100%.
He just took it to the next degree.
Exactly. It all starts in New York, so it's not you are not wrong. He's still the same Dan Humphreys.
He's still the same guy.
He just changed his name.
I'm a
pretty much
Gossip Girl stan right here. Let's go.
Sean, was there anything that you are reading and watching currently that we skipped over?
Oh, so there is this movie that came out called Spider-Man. So I watched all the Spider-Man.
There you go. And also we reviewed all the Spider-Mans.
Which I did not watch them for because I was doing other things. And then I started watching Doctor Strange before the movie on Thursday. And I got about halfway through it. So that's what I've been watching. Last night we were watching Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. And I fell asleep to that. So that's what
Bador says you're basic.
She is. Bador, I was going to, but I had to go out to dinner with friends, had to go do other things, What are you gonna do?
I want to watch Arcane. I still haven't finished Star Wars Visions. I watched 4 episodes and I just couldn't sit back down.
Did you watch the one with the band in it, with like the pop band?
Oh, yeah, that was actually one of my favorite. I thought that was very much a kid episode, and I thought it was perfect because Star Wars is for kids.
God damn it, Jesse!
I don't know what you're talking about.
But I want to watch The Witcher. I'm down for Henry.
We need to watch The Witcher. That might be tomorrow.
I really sure did enjoy that first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. We might have to get into
Geralt has more lines of dialogue in the first episode than he had the entirety of the first season. I think Ciri is a real good juxtaposition for Geralt to bounce off of.
I had only played the 3rd game And then I went back and did like a YouTube like story thing for the games 1 and 2 after I finished the third game. But I watched it in double time just to get through it all. So I kind of caught up with that, but I know this is based off the book. So I loved the first season though for what it was. It was kind of like a Monster of the Week type of thing.
It is, and there's an element of that here. Honestly, the books are kind of written like that a little bit,
okay.
Or at least the one that I read. If you guys have Audible, download Witcher: The Last Wish, I think is the name of the book. And it was a later released book, but chronologically takes place before all the other books. And I've had several people come up to me and be like, "Oh, I hate the Witcher series because it's nothing like the book." So I was like, "Well, I'm going to listen to a book and give it a shot." I think all of the Witcher fans did not read the newest book that they did because I was like, "Wow, this is almost play by play the first season of the book, with the exception of Jaskier, I believe is how you pronounce his name." Is a different character in the book. Like everything that happens is exactly the same, but it's a different character. And then Ciri doesn't really come into play yet, and Yennefer doesn't get the backstory that she does in the show. But
I loved her backstory in the first season.
Yeah.
So
me too.
I'm check that out.
Also, in 11 days, we get the Book of Boba Fett, and I cannot wait to watch that. And
you will see all of us here on the show talking about it at some point or another.
I cannot wait for that. I'm so stoked.
Probably like we did with, what did we just watch? Hawkeye. Oh,
Hawkeye.
By the way, Hawkeye season finale review next week. If you guys have seen the trailer, I think we're going to get some more of the big guy.
I hope so. So much. I'm nervous. I'm tentative with this finale. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I think that's true for several of us. Anyways, I think pretty much wraps up the show. So thank you guys for joining us so very much. And let's give a breakdown of where everyone can find you outside of this show. Obviously,
someone's got to do it.
I'll be here correcting your theories. Yeah, well, I think my first interaction with Bador was me getting actually by her Star Wars knowledge. So that's all right.
Do it, Bador. One of these days, I'm going to get someone with an actually. I'm going to be so proud of myself. I'm going to get one of you guys. It's going to be fantastic. And then no one will ever see me again. I'm just going to retire. I'm going to be done. I'm going to ride out to the sunset.
I think actually is like one of the most toxic traits that I can admit to being guilty of.
Jeff has made his entire personality out of it. So.
Yes, 100%. It is something I work very hard not to do in my personal life because I have been told by bosses at work that I would do that.
You just have to rephrase it. So when somebody says something, be like, "That's very interesting. I heard."
Yes. Like, why do you ask questions that you know the answers to? I'm like, do I do that? Oh shit, I do that. Yeah, I do. It's strictly to set them up, and it's a bad trait.
Well, we'll be looking forward to it. And then maybe we'll have a special. Maybe we'll have Bador on the show, and we can have Bador Fett watch. Starting from the right over. Sean, where can people find you outside of?
Right up here at Pastor Dad Fox, or at Sean Wingblade. Spell it correctly. SEAN.
Speaking of Scott and Pastor Dad, if anyone has a chance, do go over to Pastor Dad Fox. Wish Scott a speedy recovery. He's feeling real bad. Also didn't get to go out and see Spider-Man after getting his tickets. Being one of the first of us to get them, he had to miss out and be a responsible adult and sit and throw up at home. So please wish him a speedy recovery. Anyways, go ahead, Sean.
And I brought a little bit of the gray.
There you go.
Just a little bit of the gray, a little bit of the maturity that Scott brings to the show. Other than Jesse myself. None. No. Yeah, you know where to find me. It's all down there at Sean Wingblade and FCL coming soon. Again, for next season. I don't know which way to go with this.
The fickle. Allison.
You can also find me on Twitter at Allison Salamone. You can find me over on Spin from the Reel over on Watt Reel Entertainment. I think we're moving our episode from Monday this week to another night, but we got a pretty cool guest coming on, but don't want to stress Chris out by saying it and then have it not happen. So we're working on that. But
stress out.
Exactly right. Also,
I cannot believe you guys secured George Lucas. That is super cool.
Right. You can find me on Instagram, Allison_Salamone, and over on the Instagram handle at FlickinRealFanCast. So come give us a follow. We're super close to 100 followers on there. Let's see if we can try to break it.
Yeah.
I try.
And I meant Maleficent, by the way.
You guys are the best. And then anytime that Jesse likes having me on here, I'm always here. So
like's a strong word. Oh well, guys, you can follow me at Jesse Swift on
Required.
Twitter, of course. You can find me on Instagram as Nifty Swifty, because unlike some people, I like to mix it up on my socials just to keep it confusing. You will find me every week doing multiple shows on this channel, and that is the Flickin' Real Fancast. And you are, whether you like it or not, Flickin' Fanatics. So thank you for joining the show. We appreciate having you on here. And until the next episode, which will be tomorrow night. No, but yeah, tomorrow night is our spoiler party. Lots of cool guests. Look forward to that. We're going to be talking Spidey spoilers. So until next time, thwip thwip, keep it real.
This is the sound of dun, 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 dun. It's the Flickin' Real Show.